Hi.
Hello, Matthias. How are you?
Hi, how are you? It's great to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Just so everybody knows, welcome. I'm Patrick McEnroe, former professional tennis player way back in the day. I've worked for ESPN now covering tennis all over the world, including at Roland Garros for about 20 some years. Matthias Dandois is here with me. He's one of the greatest bikers, BMX riders in the entire world. He's a six-time world champ. And very excited to meet you, Matthias, and to see what you do and find out what you've been doing here in quarantine for the last couple of months.
Oh yeah, so I felt like instead of trying to explain to the audience what I'm doing, I'm like, might as well give you guys a little show in my apartment here in New York City. So
sounds good.
You want to see some stuff?
I want to see some stuff. And by the way, this is a sort of a new thing for FIAF. In case people don't know what FIAF is, it's the French Institute Alliance Française. I tried my French accent a little bit, Matthias, for you. They do lots of cultural events here. They're the biggest cultural organization for French and Francophile people here in the United States, here in New York. So I'm very happy that they asked me to join this. I'm happy to have you, Matthias, and let's see what you got.
Oh yeah, let's do this. All right, I'm gonna show you guys some basic trick and maybe like build it up. Maybe don't try this at home though.
I definitely will probably not do that. Here we go.
All right, so the first trick is gonna be a bar spin. So like spinning the bar.
Okay.
Show you real quick. So just gonna go right there and boom, a little bar spin.
Yeah. Make it look. You make it look easy.
Starting slow. Then we have a bunny hop, which is like jumping. So you gotta pull on your handlebar.
Wow.
All right. That was two of the most basic tricks. Then you get a good old wheelie, you know, like back wheel balance. All right.
All in the confines of your apartment in downtown Manhattan, Matthias. Unbelievable.
Exactly. All right, let's do some more difficult tricks. This one is called a max circle.
Okay.
It's
Matthias,
some spinning tricks.
Matthias is in his apartment in New York City. I'm in my house just outside New York City. Whoa. Holy mackerel. Oh, wait, hold on. Watch out. Oh my goodness. We did not expect that, Matthias.
Two plates. Stay. All right. She's going to be a part of the show. All right. So that's called mega spin right here.
Okay.
Stay.
Oh my gosh. Unbelievable.
All right. And I got some more for you guys.
Matthias, what's the dog's name?
Dog's name is Ariana. She just got knocked out by my wheel.
I mean, when you live with a BMX world champ, this is what you have to do as a dog, you know?
All right, so I show you a really fast one right there.
Okay.
Stay, Ariana, stay.
She wants in on the action. Yeah.
Gonna build up some speed right here.
Wow.
Boom. All right. And you guys want to see some no hands action?
Yeah, let's see some no hands. A little tough for me to play tennis like this in my basement, but this is pretty amazing to watch this. This is awesome. By the way, you can, if you're watching us on Facebook or here on Zoom, you can send us any questions you have, and we will. I will pose them to Matthias. Look at this! Whoa, it's like you're riding a horse.
Some rodeo stuff right there.
That is incredible, incroyable.
Woo! All right.
Well,
that was a bit of BMX for you guys.
that is amazing.
Woo!
Clearly, we see that you can get a lot of stuff done, Matthias, right in that little space in your apartment, and your dog is safe, luckily.
The dog is okay.
Yeah, she got knocked right in the head.
I think that was the most amazing thing that ever happened during this confinement, live knocking my dog out.
Live for FIAF. Only the FIAF audience can see this on Facebook and on Zoom. All right. Well, now that you're sitting, I know a lot of people, you know, like in my world in tennis, people are, especially kids from our tennis academy, are always asking what sort of things they can do, you know, to help their tennis game or to work out. We're all home, whatever job we're doing. But Pauline wants to know, what do you miss the most about working out and only being able to do it while you're in quarantine?
Man, it's definitely the traveling part, you know. I've been traveling for 15 years, you know, being a pro for 15 years, and I've been in more than 80 countries in my life. And this has definitely had a huge impact on who I am today, you know, like trying to understand the people more, trying to be more open-minded about the culture. And honestly, it's been really hard not to be able to travel for the past 2 months. But I also embrace it, you know, because it's been 15 years that I've been traveling constantly, and it's the first time in 15 years that I spent 1 month in the same time zone. So,
really? Wow, I thought we traveled a lot in tennis as tennis players, but that's amazing.
So yeah, I've been, you know, making the most of this situation. I've been sleeping great, actually, because you know, when you travel so much, your sleeping schedule is a little bit messed up. You know, you always either can't fall asleep or wake up in the middle of the night. I'm sure you had that, and and you still do. So like, you know, just being able to have some regular sleeping schedule has been so amazing, and I feel so in shape right now.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you started? Because I know when you started riding, you were very athletic. Your family did a lot of other sports. You like to run, apparently. But I read that your parents actually got you a BMX bike or started building it in your garden. Is that true?
Yes. Oh, so I got really into BMX when I was 12, and I would go outside the whole day when I was not in school with my friends, you know, and my parents started to be a little worried, you know, because we were riding in the street and there might have been some cars, and you know, they were like, well, if you're gonna ride so much, we want you to be safe. And they needed to build a little terrace anyway, so they were like, well, we're gonna build a terrace that's suitable for BMX riding. So I had this like 20 feet circle in my backyard where I could go ride. And honestly, I spent so much time on that terrace, you have no idea. My mom would go insane, you know, like, and I set up a little light so I could ride at night too. So sometimes it would be like midnight and she'd be like, what are you doing here? Like, just go to bed, you have school tomorrow. And I would just, you know, go to school in the morning, run to take the train back to my parents' house to ride for like 30 minutes. I would eat my lunch in like 20 seconds. It was insane. Wow. And then just to ride for 30 minutes and then just run back to school and try to get the first afternoon lesson. You know, it was insane. I was motivated.
Yeah, I could see that. And obviously you love what you do. That's obvious. Anonymous has this question, and I guess maybe I know why they're anonymous. Wants to know if you have any neighbors downstairs and what do they think of the bunny hop?
That's an amazing question. Well, yeah. the guy is a DJ, and I think he lost his headphones last week, so we are even.
That's funny. All right, Mary Grace is actually sending a message from the Philippines.
Oh wow!
She wants to know how old you are, where you were when you learned, you know, started learning those tricks. I guess kind of right when you were 12, 13, you started really learning the bunny hop and the different basic tricks that you do.
Yeah, so the tricks I just did right there for the lives are tricks you can master within a year or two of BMX riding. So I would say when I was 14, 15, I could do these, and I would just do them all day long because it feels so good. You know what I love about BMX flatland is that you don't need no wrench, you don't need nothing. You just need a bike, a flat ground, and your brain. And it's all about creativity. You know, it's all about learning new tricks and creating new tricks. So in order to win a professional competition today, you need to come up with your own tricks. So like the best pros, they invent like 1 or 2 new tricks a year, and it's endless. So it's basically like in tennis, if you know, there is like the backhand, the forehand, and it's like if the players were coming up with new like trick shots.
Like trick shots, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
that would probably add more interest to tennis, by the way, coming up with those trick shots. Question is coming here from Alex. To understand more about your path and how you got into BMX, what do you like the most about the sport?
What I like the most about the sport, it's like, it looks like it's a very individual sport that, you know, when we do competition, it's 1 versus 1. But in reality, the group of professionals we have, and we travel all year long together, it's like a big family. And you know, there is no money in the sport. So we just, family, you know, we stay in the same Airbnbs, we ride together, even though we compete together. And when it's time for competition, there is no such thing as friends. But other than that, you know, we are a big family, and just getting to travel the world with your friend and share the same thing, you know, which is riding bike, is absolutely amazing.
Now, Jennifer wants to know where, since you've been to so many different places, right? I think this is a great question. Where are some of the best places to bike around the world?
That's a very great question. I think my favorite city to ride bike in is New York City, because it's so inspiring, you know, just to cruise around, especially Manhattan, you know, there's so much energy. I'm a city guy, so Paris, New York City, but some of the most incredible places I've rode my bike, maybe at the top of a mountain, like 40,000 feet high. That was crazy. I rode in Iceland. That was pretty unique. And South Africa is definitely like my go-to place. I love Cape Town. It's such a beautiful place.
By the way, there's a lot of stories from people that were early on, before tennis became very, very popular financially and in professional. It used to be all amateurs, say back in the 50s and 60s. So when you were telling your story about everybody going around together and not making any money, that's the way tennis used to be, like in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. So who knows? Maybe like in 10 years, you'll be like Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal. You'll have like an entourage of people.
I know, but I don't think I would love that. You know, I love the fact that our sport is a high level sport, but it's like kind of niche. And you know, we are going to be in the Olympic. We were supposed to go to the Olympic in 2020 in Tokyo.
Right.
And I think that's going to change a lot of things and I think it's great, but I would love our sport and community to stay like kind of niche and healthy like this. Because, you know, we pros, we make a fair amount of money. It's all right, but it's not like too much. So it's kind of a nice balance between, I don't know. It's great.
It's enough, but not out of control. You're not taking any private jets anywhere soon, huh?
Oh no. That's enough economy seats flying for sure.
So let's talk a little bit about what obviously we can see that you can do some of your own bike tricks. Obviously you don't have as much room as you normally do, but what are some other things that you'd like? For example, I know I've been trying to do some online workouts and hitting the little ball against the wall or against the garage if you have it, depending on where you are. So what are some of the things that you've been doing maybe differently since you've been in quarantine than you normally would do for your training for being on the bike?
Well, first discovered meditation when we first started quarantine with my girlfriend. So she was already into it, and I kind of thought it was pointless to do it. And I was like, what is she doing? You know, like staying 20 minutes still. I don't like that. And like actual situation can be kind of like anxiogène,
Attendez,
and you know, like.
je comprends pas, je viens de me connecter sur le Zoom.
You're just coming a little bit in and out, Matthias. So we're working on it, but I think you're okay now.
Okay, am I good?
Yeah, now I think you're good. Yeah.
All right. So the meditation has been a big part. So every day, 20 minutes. There are some apps out there, like Headspace is a great app. I love it. I've been doing a fair amount of yoga.
Mm-hmm.
I've been loving doing yoga. So I can show you some stuff actually.
Obviously, being flexible is very important for what you do on the bike, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So it's all about staying as light as possible with as much muscle as possible, you know. So you can get bulky, but you need some muscle to protect you from crashes. So you can just do some yoga stuff, like, you know, just obviously like these things. For the back. Oh, the dog is doing it with me now.
Upward dog, and then I do downward dog for the dog. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. She's actually walking out with me.
Yeah, she's right in there with you.
And for anyone that owns a bike at home, I'm gonna show you something real quick. I feel like you guys are gonna love this. So you just need to like put your front wheel off.
Okay.
Right there. All right. And then, I don't think you're ready for this, Patrick. I don't think you are ready for this.
Probably not. No, probably not. Oh, for the stomach. Yeah, for the core. Yeah.
It makes a great, like.
Oh, yeah. I need that, Matthias. I need that big time.
This is really good.
Amazing. Yeah.
So that, and obviously, like, you can always do the good old push-up, you know. Always works great. I hate push-up. Oh.
Do you do when you can go, like, you know, when you're allowed to go, like, to the gym or something, do you do that a bit, or is it mostly kind of on your own? Like, what's your normal routine to keep yourself in shape, to make sure you don't get hurt and stuff, and keep yourself fit?
So I work with a coach, and since I'm traveling a lot, obviously he doesn't come on all these places with me, but I have like a training routine, you know, that I can do without any equipment. And I actually like shared my daily training routine on my YouTube channel to help the people staying fit, you know, during the confinement. So you can just find it on my YouTube channel. I think it's called the COVID-19 BMX workout. And it's a 30-minute workout that I do every day. And, you know, you don't need any equipment, and it's like legs, cardio, upper body, and, you know, it's all you need to stay in shape. And that's what I've been doing for the past 2 years, and it's been working out great for me. So
I'm going to check that out. Something tells me I might not be able to do it at the level you do it, Matthias, but we shall see. All right, I got a question here from Anne. She said that you said that there is not much money in this sport, Matthias. If so, do you get sponsors and other riders like you, or do any of you have a day job?
That's a really great question. Some of the pros, they do have a day job, because some of these guys, they rely on the competition prize money. So if they don't do good at competition, they need to have a backup plan, you know, because some of these guys, they don't have any sponsors. And I'm so fortunate. I'm sponsored by great companies, some of them for over 12 years. I've been with Red Bull for 12 years, and without them, you know, like, I wouldn't be here. But some of the guys, they definitely have to, I don't know, I know a friend, he got like top 3 in the world championship last year, and he's like a car mechanic on the side.
That's amazing. Wow. Yeah. Well, guess what? Tennis players, now, of course, we hear about all the big ones, right? But there's a lot of tennis players out there, the same thing, that they make their living week to week by playing in the tournament. So everybody's in a similar situation.
Of course, because I feel like in tennis, we hear a lot about the top 100, you know, but I feel like if you go below that, it's not that easy, because traveling costs a lot of money, you know. Tournaments are like a couple of weeks. That's a couple of weeks worth of hotel rooms. And it's like, damn, if I don't go through the third round, it's like, you know?
Yeah, you might lose money.
Yeah.
All right, Danielle has a question. What advice would you give someone who's interested in starting to learn BMX?
So there are some BMX flatland school out there. You can look them up online. And I did a bunch of how-tos on my YouTube channel. It's called Can You Make It? And there are like 25 tricks tutorial on my YouTube channel, and you know, from the easiest trick to the more advanced stuff I just did there, and it's all there. So you know, you just need a BMX bike. It's only like, you know, $400, a flat floor, and we explain you everything, and it's so much fun. It's not really dangerous because you're not high in the air, you know, and you can just have so much fun with it.
Do you think that BMX has a bad boy reputation? Because someone asked a question. I don't. Is that true?
I mean, I don't know why, because we have tattoos and
there's plenty of athletes in other sports that have tattoos. What's wrong with that?
Exactly. No, like I don't think BMXers have a bad boy reputation, you know, because, you know, maybe we are on the street, and maybe like sometimes when we ride street, you know, when we are grinding down handrail, and maybe security comes and kick us out, you know, it's always because it comes from the street.
Yeah.
It can have a bad reputation. It's like, I don't know, rap artist or skateboard or whatever, but I kind of like it, you know, it's different.
Do you ever just go for like just a bike ride?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
definitely. I love that. Yeah.
And do you use that for fitness, or you just do it kind of more for your mind and for kind of just to relax?
Great question. Some of this sport I definitely do for my mind mostly. So like I still go running 5 times a week. I still go on bike rides sometimes, maybe like once a month. I play a lot of tennis. You know what? I play tennis twice a week. Yeah, I do.
Listen, I just started a podcast because I got the virus, you know, and I was here in my basement in quarantine, and I figured out my own podcast machine, how to start it. And my theme of my podcast is to interview very successful people, but not in tennis, that love tennis. So are you in?
I'm in. Sign me up.
I love it. I love it. So that's kind of part of your off the bike regimen, tennis, running.
Yeah. So tennis, running, a little bit of bike riding, and eating healthy. Dude, when I grew up, when I was in my 20s, I used to not care about my what I was eating. I was like, you know what, whatever, you know. And then when you grow up, you start to feel it a little bit more, you know. And I actually got really into health and food the past year, and I've been feeling incredible the past year. It's crazy on like what you put inside your body matters so much. It's insane. So, you know, like just eating a mostly plant-based meal, even though I'm not a vegetarian, I still eat like chicken and eggs, and not, you know, trying to lower my my sugar consumption because I love a candy. And just, you know, taking care of what I've been eating and working out a little bit every day, and do things outside of BMX as well, because I've been doing this every day for 15 years, so that can be overwhelming, you know. So doing other sports such as tennis just makes me motivated to keep on riding my bike, because tennis is so hard. It's one of the most frustrating sport ever, where you just want to, you know, like slam the ball as hard as you can, but you know, it just goes into the river if you do that. And I feel like it's a sport where you have to be relaxed in order to like kind of,
yes.
And it's the exact same thing with BMX. If you try too hard, then you're gonna crash. You gotta be relaxed and kind of like. So there are a lot of similarities between tennis and BMX, even though it doesn't look like it.
I can see that in even when you're just showing us your tricks, how your body's very limber. You're very lean. You are French, of course, so you do have the background, and this is for the French Institute. Okay, they are having a wine tasting tomorrow. So is that part of your diet? Tomorrow will be a wine tasting at 6:30 p.m. Just a little plug for wine tasting on FIAF.
I'm gonna be all about it. I love my glass of wine at night for sure, especially during confinement.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, the consumption of wine has gone up considerably over the last 6 weeks.
I've talked with the wine shop manager, and she's so happy. Our business is exploding.
Right. Business has never been better. All right. What do you think? I mean, you told me actually earlier before we came on with all the groups. And by the way, keep the questions coming. There's great questions and lots of people on Facebook and here on Zoom talking to Matthias. What was I saying? I was about to ask you something.
Question about a lot of questions coming through on Facebook, and
yeah, but I was going somewhere else before. Help me out here, Matthias. Where my mind just I'm thinking about your workout, your routine. What was it?
Maybe like.
Well, you could talk about I talked about my podcast. You could talk about your podcast too.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. So one of the most common question I got from fans and kids is the good old, how do you turn pro and how do you get sponsored?
Right,
kids
that's a good one. Yeah,
kids want free shoes, you know.
Of course. Right.
Everybody wants free shoes.
Yeah, of course.
And it's hard to give them a pragmatic answer, you know, like in 30 seconds. So it's nice to say like, hey, be yourself and good things will happen, but it's not pragmatic. So I've been trying to answer this question through a podcast where I'm going to interview the best of the best athletes in their discipline. So we have snowboarders, we have surfers, we have Mike Horn, who is an explorer, we have Dakar rally winners, and they tell us how they made it. So and what does it take to become a professional athlete? And we are in episode 5 now, and it's been incredible. The feedbacks are incredible, and a lot of kids are inspired to like do whatever sport they are into. And you know, it's awesome to try to give them a genuine answer to that question: how do you turn pro and how do you get sponsored? So if you follow the guidelines of my podcast, you're gonna end up with free shoes.
We love that. I absolutely love that. I'm gonna listen to your podcast. You're gonna do my podcast. We're gonna remind everybody who's listening in and watching. We thank you, number one, for being here. We thank FIAF for allowing us to do this. It's been great to meet you, Matthias. But I also want to just let everyone know that you can make a donation to FIAF as well, because obviously, like everyone else in this situation, they're a cultural institution, so they're struggling. And it would be great if you could make a donation to them, or maybe join even as a member. My wife, who's a singer and an actress, has done quite a few things with them before. And they're a great organization, so we recommend that if you can, you give them a little support, because they certainly need it right now. That will help the artists, the teachers, and the staff, and everyone associated with the group. I know what I was going to ask you. Now I remember. The next thing, you told me earlier this morning before we came on, we chatted just quickly, that the World Cup has been canceled.
Yes.
Right? They just announced this today. And what do you think? What's your I hear kind of inside tennis stuff. Maybe the US Open is going to happen with no fans. We're not really sure. What are you hearing sort of inside your BMX world about when you guys could have a competition again?
Yes. So I woke up with I was bummed this morning. I was like, I was looking forward to riding the World Cup in September. It was going to be in Montpellier, France, and it's an event where there are like 600,000 people, where you have all the fans coming. That's a massive event. So it got canceled today. But, they were planning on doing it with no crowd. And for us BMX rider, we feed off from the crowd so much, You get the energy from the crowd when you ride a competition. So riding a competition in front of nobody, just for TV, it would have been kind of a weird vibe. So I'm kind of happy that we're not going to do that, But instead, they're going to run an online competition where you're going to have to submit your best trick, and the judges of the competition, the judges of the competition, they're going to like elect obviously not a new world champion, but at least like they're gonna be able to split the prize money or whatever. Like do something entertaining for the fans to still like check out some BMX action. So I'm grateful for that. It's great.
And I'm assuming you've been working on a couple of new tricks anyway. You don't have the same amount of space, obviously, that you normally have, but are you able to sort of visualize what is something new that you can do, maybe in that small space in your apartment?
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of visualization going on the past month and a half for sure. But and it's also something that I use a lot for my competition. So you know the night before a final could be really stressful, and you know better than I do. You know, you are sitting in bed, and the best thing to do is trying to visualize how you're gonna feel at this very moment, so you don't get overwhelmed when the competition is coming. You know.
Right.
So what I've been doing in my apartment is like kind of working on some new tricks ideas. So I obviously can't do them right there because the space is too tiny and I don't want to break my piano. But I've been visualizing the tricks, and as soon as this is safe to go out, I'm gonna go out and try, you know. And also I don't want to get injured and take someone's spot at the hospital, you know. That would be
yeah, exactly.
That would be stupid. So, but in New York City, you know, it's been great to see that people have been really like playing the game, staying inside, staying safe. And even though the numbers are crazy and it's so sad, but people are really trying to flatten the curve. And I really appreciate that about New Yorkers. And it's been great to see.
Well, New Yorkers know how to deal with some tough situations. I was actually living very close to you in the Soho area when 9/11 happened. So that was tough. This is tough, obviously, for a lot of reasons. So we thank everyone out there that's doing their part, and like you said, we think about all the people at the hospitals and the front lines, and that are doing their best.
But you know what I was telling myself this morning? It's I'm always trying to think positive but without this crazy pandemic, we might never have met each other. You know,
that's true. That's true. That's right.
So
and now we're going to
get
I'm going to get you on the tennis courts up at our McEnroe Tennis Academy at Randall's Island, and bring your bike. I'll bring my. I'm a little nervous, but we'll see what happens.
I would love that. I would love that.
Here's a couple more questions. We got a few more minutes left. We still got a lot of great questions. Let's see here. Here's a good one. What are the hardest sacrifices that you have had to make for your sport? Or maybe do you think there are any?
Of course, there are. Like to become a professional athlete, you have to make some sacrifices. That's obvious. Dropping off school, you know, after I graduated, because I loved to go to school, and I really wanted to be a physiotherapist.
Wow.
But so that was kind of a hard one, you know. So I graduated from high school, and after that I had to make a decision. You know, I couldn't follow a normal courses. So that was one. And the toughest one right now is not to be able to see my girlfriend or my friends or my family as much as I want, because I'm on the road so much. And it's one of the sacrifices. And even though I'm hanging out a bunch with my BMX friend, I still miss my family, still miss my girlfriend and my friends back home, you know. So these are the two most like important sacrifices I had to do: dropping off school and you know, kind of missing the time with my family and friends.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they miss you because you're got an awesome personality, and we can tell that you love what you do. Where would you say that? Which country or countries do you think BMX is the most popular?
Great one. I would say Japan. Japan has a huge BMX culture, and it's the 2020 Olympics are going to be awesome. I mean, 2021 obviously now, but next year is going to be.
I think they're still calling them 2020 because they're still 2020, but they'll be in 2021. We hope. In 2020. All right.
So that's going to be awesome. First time for BMX freestyle to be in the Olympic. I can't wait. So Japan is massive for that. Obviously, America, the United States, they have a massive scene, you know, with the X Games, you know, with ESPN actually.
Yeah.
So USA and Japan are the best two scenes. France has a pretty big scene too, and we we're really like trying to develop the sport through like having schools, you know, teaching kids. So it's coming. As you said, you know, the sport is going to grow and evolve. So it's great.
Yeah, well, you are a great spokesman for your sport. Matthias, it's been awesome chatting with you. I know that everyone out there, I'm going to go to your video on the half-hour video, and I will report back to actually how much I can do of it. Okay. And any last words you would like to say to the group and to the people that chimed in on Facebook and Zoom and to the FIAF fans?
Of course. Thank you guys so much for joining in. It was amazing. I will put the link in my Instagram story if you want to make a donation to the FIAF, you know. Right. It's really important to support each other in these weird times, let's say. So I'll make a donation myself. You can find the link in my bio or in my story. Thank you so much for the people at FIAF for having us. It was so awesome to get to talk to you, Patrick.
Yeah, and, me too. Yeah.
And stay home and stay safe, guys. And we're going to celebrate once this is all over.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Just again, just a reminder that the wine tasting tomorrow at 6:30. Maybe they'll let me come in for that too. I wouldn't mind that. And then there's a full-length reading on Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time of Molière's. Of course, the most famous play, well, one of them, The Misanthrope. So that's in partnership with Molière in the park. So lots of stuff happening through FIAF. This was their first one they did, Matthias, in sports. Let's hope they do a few more after what you and I did today.
I hope so. I promise the dog is fine. I promise she's okay.
It sounds good. Bye-bye, everybody, and thank you so much. We appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.